Hey y'all, welcome back to the Lesbian Line. This is episode 3. Hi. Okay, so random. It is December 9th today. The morning temperature was 13 degrees. Okay, so as I record this, I have on 2 pairs of socks, a waffle shirt, and a sweater because it's cold, and I don't appreciate the temperature with the amount of taxes that I have to pay to live in my city. I don't think this is right. I think that it should be for what New York City costs. I feel like it should feel like Florida every day for what it costs to breathe and exist up here. Anyway, back to the show. Okay, so this is episode 3, and the theme today is going to be security. One story is about like a feeling of feeling insecure, and the other story is like a physical thing to be insecure about. So we're gonna get into these 2 stories. But before we do, let's get the disclaimer out of the way. Hey everyone, just a quick heads up before we dive in. I'm not a medical professional or a therapist. This is all just commentary, conversation, and community. This whole project is inspired by my doctoral research, which is all about exploring how queer people learn, share, and reflect on relationships online. We'll be diving into queer stories found on social media like Reddit, Instagram, or stories that you send in. Everything we talk about will be linked below so that you can read the original stories for yourself. Thanks for being here. Now, let's get on the lesbian line. All right, so the first story that we're going to go into is called "My Girlfriend is Extremely Insecure and It's Starting to Put Me Off." Okay, we've been together for about 6 months now, and I'm not sure what to do. Things were going great at first, and she's exceptionally nice and honestly the sweetest person I think I've ever met. But she's deeply insecure, and it's starting to become a bummer. She has pretty significant abandonment issues, and it's becoming more clear just how low her self-esteem actually is on a regular basis. Sometimes she becomes extremely emotional and clingy and sobs uncontrollably, and all of my efforts to reassure her just sort of don't work. This doesn't happen every day. It's more like she'll get triggered out of the blue and become inconsolable, which makes me feel weird, but I just hold her and tell her I love her, etc. But then she'll want specific answers to whether I will be here in a year, or will we move in together, or how serious I am about this. Do I really want to be with her? Why do I want to be with her? Stuff like that. She's afraid that she doesn't deserve this relationship somehow, or that I'll get bored and leave her or something. The problem is, I think it's starting to become a self-fulfilling prophecy. All of the insecurity and clinginess is starting to make me want to pull back. I think she has an anxious attachment style and just gets very in her head sometimes. The thing is, I'm starting to feel kind of impatient about it. Like she just breaks down crying sometimes for what seems like no apparent reason, and she'll cry all day, sometimes for a couple of days. Poor baby. It's looking like this insecurity issue that she's going through runs a bit deeper than this relationship, and it may be out of your control. I can kind of see where this is going, but I want to read a little more to get a fuller understanding, but I think I know where this is going. She also gets really insecure about socializing and will be super awkward around my friends, so social situations become difficult to navigate with her. She'll also just agree with me about literally everything and has kind of stopped having opinions of her own, and it's almost like she's trying to be the person she thinks I want her to be. But all I want is for her to be herself. And it gets frustrating, feeling like I have all this pressure to be her happiness for her. I feel like as more time has passed, she's become much more agreeable, like to an ungenuine degree. She always wants to do whatever I want to do. And often it seems like she just agrees with whatever I say. And I suspect she's just trying to be agreeable, so I want to stay with her maybe. She's mentioned being a people pleaser in the past, but went to therapy and has been working on it. But I'm starting to wonder if this is still an issue for her. I don't know. I feel like I'm just ranting at this point, but I guess my question is, does anyone else have experience with this kind of dynamic? And if so, how did you handle it? Do you think this relationship is doomed? I'm afraid I'm going to get progressively more annoyed at her clinginess and will eventually snap. But she's such a sensitive person, and that would be really difficult for her, and I want to be kind. I know we should probably talk through it, but I'm struggling to get my head around this. I'm wondering if we should break up before she gets more attached to this relationship now that I'm having doubts. The pressure of feeling like she's looking to me for happiness is really starting to get to me. Like the idea that she would fall apart if I left ties me in knots and actually makes me want to leave out of fear that staying and then wanting to break up later would be even worse. We're both in our late 30s. Ooh, okay. Go to regular therapy and have been able to talk through most things so far. This has just been building for a while and I'm kind of stuck at this point. Sometimes things are fine and we have a good time together, and other times it's really grim. Anyone have any perspective to share that might be helpful here? Okay, all right. This story definitely resonates. My goodness, it resonates so much. I used to be this girl. I think this is how people must have experienced me at some point in my life. When your self-image, your security within yourself, your feelings about yourself, your thoughts about yourself, all of it is dark and grim, and you question everything, and your depression is coming out and you don't have control over it. It's a really tough spot to be in. It is really difficult to live in a body and see a face in a mirror that you don't find beautiful. You can't see the way other people see you. And it's almost dysphoric, really. You just pick out the ugly parts, the parts you wish weren't there. Maybe you wish you were skinnier. Maybe you wish you were curvier. Maybe you wish you weren't, so light bright or so like dark skinned or whatever. You just wish you were something else, someone else. It's a really difficult space to navigate through. It's enough by itself, but then when you have a relationship, you're tying yourself to someone else, and this person is telling you, hey, you're beautiful, like you're gorgeous, like I love your eyes, I love your smile, I love how curvy you are, I love your feet. It's so jarring when you're in this dark space, because you're like, who are you looking at? Like, I don't have nice feet. Like, I'm not a pretty person, because you literally can't see it. Like, you can see your face. You can see that you have eyes and a nose and a mouth, but you don't find them aesthetically pleasing because of where your mental state is. Now, with that being said, and knowing that feeling so deeply, I really don't think there's a future in this relationship. You're not supposed to say that, especially for Reddit relationships. You're not supposed to tell people to break up. But this girl is dealing with some things that she is on a road, okay, of a dark road of her own making, and she has to find her way out of it. Like, when you are this dark and this deep and just not seeing the value of yourself and your own light, and you don't know, like, how to feed your own spirit, you are not in a space to be anything for anyone else. It is unfair to be in a relationship to a person that is not going through that. Let me backtrack. I'm not saying that a person should never be in relationships if they have mental issues. I'm not saying that. I had plenty of mental issues and I had plenty of relationships. But what I am saying is that this person should consider finding their way out of this dark hole that they're in before they try to engage in a relationship. Because look at what's happening. They're trying to be agreeable. They're being a people pleaser. They're acting like a bot, really. It's all yes, all the time. And that's not real. This relationship isn't real right now. And OP is obviously getting tired of trying to pour into this person all the time. And it's unfair for OP because OP is pouring into a bucket with holes at the bottom. Until this person does the work of their own self-worth, of finding their own beauty, it's never going to be enough. Like, I know that in probably from age 16 to maybe 30, 32, I struggled with my self-image, self-worth, all of that. Now, my issues stemmed from like parental abandonment. I learned in therapy that when someone leaves you and they were supposed to be with you and be like your biggest fan and, you know, fill you up, when that person, you know, isn't there, that it manifests in different ways. That hole that is left just manifests in different ways. And one of mine was just never feeling like I was beautiful. And if you really looked at me, like during that time, like you could see it, like my clothes, my personality, like different things. I had no standards whatsoever when it came to dating because I was just desperate to be wanted and desperate to be almost needed by the people I was dating. It's a detrimental, dangerous place to be in when your insecurity is this unchecked. OP did say that they're in therapy, but I don't know, maybe they need a new therapist or a new type of therapy. But if the girlfriend was one of my friends or, you know, one of my nieces or nephews, like I would tell them like, oh, you need to focus on yourself for now because you can't help anyone else. You can't be a support for anyone else. You can't be in relationship with anyone else until you can't love anyone else until you can love yourself. Like, I don't mean to go like all RuPaul, but no, you gotta love yourself before you can love somebody else. And this girl, she's not in a headspace, especially if she's like going through these spats where she's crying all day for a couple of days. OP is getting tired. And it's just when you're that low in the situation, it's like, do the selfless thing, break this relationship, fix yourself. And then when you're confident and you love yourself and there are things that you enjoy about yourself, then you can get into relationships. Because at the end of the day, like when you're this insecure, you're going to take anybody. You're not going to have any standards for yourself. You're not going to have like things that you won't tolerate. Like, and you need that because there are so many, like, not physically, but there are dangerous people in the world and people that are like, will only take from you and just drain your energy. I really hope this story was from 2 years ago. So I really hope that, you know, the girlfriend was able to, you know, work on herself. But end of story, like this girl needs to work on herself because this is no. Like, I know what that looks like. I know what that feels like and why I sympathize with her. I think they should take a break from each other so that the girlfriend can heal herself because no. But let's look at the comments. Let's look at what the comments say. With a lot of work in therapy, her insecurity will crush the life out of your relationship. Agreed. I was like her. I had an untreated personality disorder and it was a bad time. The relationship I was in was abusive anyway. But that makes sense because when you're insecure to this level, you'll take anyone. But my neediness and insecure attachment and fear of abandonment drove us both nuts. Yeah, I agree. Let's try to find another one. It's not about looking a certain way. It's about respecting someone enough to be honest, even if it comes out hurtful. And if you aren't capable of expressing concise feelings, then you shouldn't be in a relationship, period. That goes for both parties. Communication is the base of any relationship in any form. If you can't be honest with those you partake a relationship with, don't expect the same and don't expect anything besides surface level to ensue. Yeah, I'm usually not one to say break up, but in this situation, like, bro, like it's cooked until she can come as a whole person. Yeah, somebody else said that. I don't think that she's in a good place mentally to be dating. It sounds like you are fulfilling a parent or therapist role instead of a girlfriend. Okay, OP commented on this. She said, I'm very careful to keep a boundary there where I insist that she should speak to her therapist and work through these things with them. But yeah, I do feel like a parent sometimes, and that's where the annoyance is starting to build. I want a partner that is also secure, stable, and self-sufficient and doesn't need me to be happy. Yeah, because no, it's just not happening right now. And it sucks when you really, really like someone. Like, it sucks, but no. last comment before we go to the next story. She's in her late 30s, goes regularly to therapy. You didn't mention a diagnosis. Even if she doesn't have a diagnosis, she has one. She has to. I'm not, like I said earlier, I'm not a medical professional or a therapist, but okay. I know she's somewhere up in that DSM. Okay. And she randomly breaks down and cries for 2 days for no obvious reason. You're not responsible for her. That sounded a little callous, honestly, but it's true. In this situation, it's either her or you. And yeah, you cannot love someone enough for them to love themselves. You can't. No, there's not enough love in the world. Okay. So we're going to go ahead to our next story. Self-conscious about I can't say that word. Can I say yoni? Self-conscious about my yoni. Okay. My girlfriend and I got into a conversation today about my outie and her innie. She says she's not self-conscious about hers. And I said, of course not. You have the societally ideal kind. She agreed. Yes, I have the P-star kind. She's always telling me mine is beautiful, but my extreme outie is such a high insecurity of mine. It's made me cry before. No, pumpkin. Okay, I've had a spicy partner in the past shame me about mine, and I feel like it's extra difficult as a lesbian because I always compare my body to the other person when we have spicy time. Do any of you struggle with that? It's hard to not let it affect my spicy life. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. It's like this. Let me learn you real quick. Okay. If you are dating someone and you invite them into your proverbial house, okay? You invite them in your house, okay? And you say, hey, have a seat, get comfortable. And they say, okay, well, I'm ready to, do some things. I want to see your basement. Let me see your basement, your proverbial basement. Y'all see where I'm going. And you take them down to the basement and you're just like, hey, look around. What do you think? And they're like, oh no, this is an ugly basement. This is horrible. Why doesn't it look like other people's basements? Baby, if they don't like your basement, they can get out your house. I don't like that. I don't like that because I guess it's the confidence. That my basement is beautiful. My basement is well decorated. Okay. My basement is comfortable. It's warm. There's couches. There's a TV down there. There's a guest suite. Okay. I worked hard on that basement. That basement is great. Okay. So for someone to come, like if it was me, if someone came into my proverbial basement and was like, oh yeah, I don't like this basement, then get out. That's real simple. That's real easy. You can't let other people dictate how you view your own body. First of all, everybody's body is different. Everybody's yoni is different, and they're supposed to be different. They are all beautiful and they're all supposed to be different. Speaking of, I don't know if y'all have ever heard of it, but it's this thing called the Great Wall of Vulva. And this artist, I'm not sure who the artist is, but I can tag the website down below. But it's a literal wall of yonis. They took clay and they took the shape of more than 50 women, and they all look different. All these different basements, okay? And they're all beautiful. They are all unique, okay? And there is no reason to feel any qualms about your yoni. Your yoni is yours, okay? And if someone doesn't like it, they don't deserve it. If somebody said they didn't like my yoni, they would never see it again. Ever. Not ever. So, yeah, we don't have to deal with that. If they don't like it, there's a door. Good night. And that's all for that. That's all I have to say about that. Okay, so those were our 2 stories of this episode. But before we get out of here, I wanted to do like a queer moment, queer things that we have in the media. So the movie that I'm suggesting that you watch is The Kids Are All Right. It came out in 2010. It's a dramedy about a married lesbian couple whose 2 teenage children seek out their sperm donor leading to complications in the family. It touches on the complexities of relationships, parenting, and identity. I thought it was a good movie, but do leave me a comment and tell me what you think about it. And the book I am suggesting is one very close to my heart. It's called The House at the Cerulean Sea. Okay, pull up a chair for this. Okay, so this book feels like a cool day at the beach with a blanket and a thermos of your favorite tea. It is such a cozy book. It is about two men, a slew of children in between them, and just a challenge that they are going through at the time. There is a second book to The House of Cerulean Sea, and I don't want to spill too much about it, but it's about two men that fall in love, and just the way that the book is written, the ease of this book. It's such a good book for like when you're about to fall asleep, when you're on a train ride, maybe as you're listening on like a long car ride or something like that. It's so comfortable. I am highly suggesting that you read this book if you love easy, just with funny. There's like a few things in there that kind of make you like tear a little bit, but in a very sweet way. The children that are there, you're going to absolutely fall in love with them. And there are a few side characters that have such loud personalities. I cannot speak about them enough. I absolutely love this book. This is one of those books where it's almost at a Harry Potter level, where I can like read it over and over and over again and be perfectly fine. So yeah, definitely read that book. Check out the movie The Kids Are All Right, just to keep it queer, all right, so that is the end of our episode 3. It was so good to talk to you guys. This was really good. This was dope. If you like what you hear, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. It helps more folks find us and keeps the space growing. Thank you for being here. I hope to see you for the next episode. I have no idea what it's going to be about, but I do hope to see you there on the next episode of The Lesbian Line. Bye.